course, you're not going to be a publisher of their own game unless you do something amazing and using your strengths as a developer. Obviously, of all those gaps, of all the things that we didn't know about, and processes we didn't have, and people we didn't have, marketing's obviously the critical one, the scary one, and you always feel that it's always a thing I'm worried about. Oh, we know we can make games, can we market them? Well, the reality is it's the same. Mostly it's the same thing. I loved hearing David talk about his approach to designing the game, because he kept talking about the consumer and what they're experiencing and what they like and don't like. Effectively marketing language as much as design. And most of our product success derived from the product itself. So, but yeah, marketing's hard to define, at least for me, who has no marketing training whatsoever. It's hard to measure. You never know whether anything you're doing is what actually worked or what didn't work. It's very difficult. Obviously, it's hard to get it right. And the other thing is it's easy to overcomplicate. And we came up with all sorts of ideas and implemented some as well. It can be very costly when you do something complicated. If it doesn't work, you've just wasted a lot of money and a lot of time that you could have spent, I don't know, pure advertising blitz or something, or chasing a significant PR story. Also, PR was a big part of our marketing strategy, by the way, so but I'll talk more about that here anyway. But, so, look at that. Obviously, the iPhone market, very, very competitive. So here's what I reckon, and maybe it's a little tongue-in-cheek, and I'm saying recommendations from friends is all that's important. I mean, promotions in the channel are pretty critical, and obviously there's some pretty smart things you can do in marketing outside of your channel, but this is pretty much how it goes, and that's why you can waste so much money, so much time doing complicated marketing things where most of the time people are going to listen to their friends, particularly we're talking iPhone as well, it's a more casual platform. So anything your friends tell them to do, you can monitor that on Twitter, you can see what people are saying to each other in Facebook. And the big one also is the channel itself, because people go to buy, particularly on iPhone, they'll go to buy a game, they won't go to buy your game necessarily. There's a good hardcore audience that do that. They help you shoot you up the charts initially, but it's all about the channel, and that's why I think the things that sell your game, at least on the App Store, it's the game itself is number one, obviously. And someone loves the game, they recommend it to their friends. If their friends can pick it up and engage with it quickly, if they're able to describe it to their friends really simply, that's a bonus, obviously. The name itself, if I can remember what it is, if I know what it means when I'm telling my friend about it, it's really simple, so it helps. It also it helps because you see that on the store. And the icon, the first thing you see on the store, it grabs you, doesn't make you want to click and see a little bit more about the game. And this is it's very, very basic stuff, but this is just taking you through the buying process, and that's why it's the most important. These are the most important things. And then the screenshots and splash screen. So after you click on it, if you go to the App Store and you see this icon, you see the name of the game, you can tap that and you click on it, you'll see a description and some screenshots. Now, I don't think all that much of the description, because I think most people scroll down to look at the screenshots. And you see that, and if you see a game that you think you might like to engage with, then you might read the description a little more. But usually, including our own, they're a little bit long and long-winded. So I don't read them much myself. I haven't done any market research to really discover how important it is. But I have noticed EA start to put features of their games in the screenshots, not in the description. So it says something about where consumers are looking. And the video I don't think doesn't have a lot of virals. And you can put your video up on YouTube and get a lot of views, but it's not easy to spread videos as these screenshots. So if I get some screenshots out to the press, I'll see it everywhere. It can even get in print, but it's so easy. It's like a screenshot on the page, and people scrolling down the page and they see the actual content. They don't have to click on it. The video, you have to go and click on it again. maybe you take it onto another site. If you are going to do a video though, there are some good reasons. You don't have a video, press might not take you seriously. They want some rich content. So you might need a video to sort of break through those barriers, but I'm not certain that it's that big of a consumer, that big of a selling point. I think it more just helps them if they want to know more, and if they're undecided, they'll go have a look at that. And that's why I put it down a lot lower, but you may need it nonetheless, strategically. The other things that sell your games, what you do. Obviously, set the price right. I've said this a few times. I've got this idea of a pricing method. Imagine yourself at the market. There's your consumer. You've set your price. You know what it is. You already have a good idea of what you think your game's worth. They're going to haggle with you. And the right price is not the one that you're comfortable with. It's the one that you could haggle to. It's the one that takes you to that edge a little bit, particularly on an iPhone. And we've all seen that the prices are pretty low. And always when you're looking at other products, you think, oh yeah, it's only worth that much, but mine's worth a lot more. But yeah, unfortunately, not the case usually. Obviously, good PR. It's not all that hard to do, but you've got to keep busy. When you just before your game's coming out, and thereafter as well, you've got to keep supporting this in the media. Promotions, we didn't do a lot of promotions, but there are, you do get a bunch of promo codes with the Appstore game that you can give away, and you can run competitions. I see a lot of marketers doing them, so I imagine that they work pretty well. So, I believe this is an awesome space for us, by the way, digital distribution in general, not particularly iPhone, but digital distribution. Obviously, we've got some challenges here in Australia. Our high dollar is the most punishing for a lot of us, I think. We don't have a local market that's big enough to sort of bootstrap ourselves the way maybe UK do, and obviously Japan and America. And as I mentioned before, we had to work all this stuff out ourselves. It was that productive chaos, but if there were more publishing skills floating around our ecosystem, maybe we've had access to some experienced people. But there's so much that overwhelms those drawbacks, I think, in Australia. And what I particularly love about digital distribution is, instead of having a complex relationship with a publisher overseas, you can have a fairly simple relationship with millions of consumers. And the distance doesn't matter so much. It's just a bit of marketing collateral, a few email exchanges or support. And consumers don't care where their game comes from so much as what the game is. So that's why I think there's strength in this, and we don't need a foot on the ground to digitally distribute. We don't need so much footprint in each of the markets that you're going for. We also, in Australia, we have a great education sector. I feel kind of guilty that we haven't really done that much with education and stuff, and we're all very busy in our own studios, but if we can make that work for us, we've got a sustainable long-term advantage and a very strong education system as well. So I really think that all things are pointed up for us with this post-transition, if you like, as digital distribution becomes a bigger thing for us. So I hope I've left some time for questions. Yeah, cool. I hope there are some questions, because that was all pretty general stuff there. Anyone got to?
Yeah. Just wanted to find out, what do you think the lifespan of an iPhone game is? If you're publishing one, how long do you expect to sell it and have it in market for? And do you consider that when you're developing the games, or are you just hoping they last as long as they can?
I'm always hoping they last as long as they can, but yeah, there's a life cycle. I think of it like a half-life for it, because it can always sit there and sell a bit. And some games are just made to sit on the shelf, and some